If you are an American citizen, you've got a list of rights guaranteed by the government. But how do we fit these list of rights into a government that's already been written? Find out now. Thanks for watching Learning with Sprayberry, where we make social studies fun, easy, and educational. This week we're diving into the rights that are guaranteed to all Americans. These rights are collectively known as the Bill of Rights. That's a term you're going to need to know. But these rights are more than that. See, after the Revolutionary War, we had a system of government known as the Articles of Confederation. This government wasn't like what we've got today. Instead of a central government that was above all the states, we had a government that was more equal to the states. The problem with the Articles of Confederation is because it was equal to the states, it couldn't help regulate the states if there was a conflict between them. It couldn't tax for the overall nation's good, instead depending on donations from states. And finally, it couldn't help negotiate trade deals. In other words, states could put tariffs and taxes on other states. Eventually, all of these problems were brought to a head by Shays' Rebellion, which pointed out a combination of problems with this form of government and led to the conclusion that it needed to be fixed. After a long debate and a series of private and public debates, a new government was written, the Constitution. But this Constitution had to be approved. This means that you've got to get states to agree to it. Unfortunately, not everybody agreed. Welcome to the world of politics. Many were wary of creating a strong government that might have the power to abuse them. Think back to England during the Revolution. This group, opposed to a strong central government, became known as the Anti-Federalists, because they were against or anti a strong federalist government. Another group really felt that it would take a much stronger government to help settle the disputes and provide support for the citizens. This group becomes the Federalist Party because they support a federal government. Both groups have and still do have valid arguments, which meant neither side really wants to give in on their arguments. So the arguing between both sides really puts the fate of the Constitution on hold until they can get it ratified. After much arguing, yelling, several public attempts at swaying opinion, the Anti-Federalists did agree that a stronger government would help make matters better if there's a way to protect the citizens from the government, to make sure that they couldn't abuse the citizens. How can you guarantee that this can't happen? One of the founding fathers, James Madison, created a series of rules that would serve to protect U.S. citizens from any abuses that might be levied against them by the federal government. That starts a whole new series of problems. See, the Constitution's already written, so going back and adding all these new rules could cause some problems. This document had already taken months to write, so changing it isn't exactly an easy option. The idea to put these into the Constitution was eventually scrapped in favor of just amending or changing the Constitution. Luckily, the Founding Fathers had thought ahead enough to provide ways to make amendments happen. So they proceeded to add a series of amendments. 10 initially to form the Bill of Rights. The amendments are designed to be doable but not easy. The Founding Fathers spent a lot of time writing the Constitution, so they don't want it to be too easy changing it and messing up everything they'd already planned. There are two ways to amend the Constitution. The first one is the one we've done so far. For this method, Congress has to propose a change to the Constitution that's been agreed on by 2/3 of Congress. Then it goes to the states. For the states, they have to have 3/4 of all states in the country agree that this change needs to be made. So we're talking 2 majority groups have to get together to agree on something. If you follow US politics at all, or, own a TV, you know that getting anybody to agree to anything is darn near impossible. Changing the Constitution is designed to be hard. The framers didn't spend months debating, arguing, and backroom dealing to create a government that could be easily dismantled at the first problem. It's designed to make sure that everyone, almost everyone, agrees that the change is necessary. Back to the amendments. These amendments were designed to reassure the Anti-Federalists and the citizens who supported them that the government would not try to take away their rights. It does limit the power of the federal government, as proposed by the Federalists. But it's a small step towards a consensus that helps create a unified party in our government. Well, mostly unified. Based on what you know about our interactions with England, do you think it was smart of the Anti-Federalists to try and limit the federal government's power in order to protect its citizens? Or does the need for a strong federal government outweigh any concerns about personal freedom? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Check in next week as we go over the Bill of Rights and your protections under the Constitution. If you liked what you've seen or found it helpful, click like. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, hit subscribe. If you want to be notified every time I drop a new video, hit the little bell so that you get a notification. Thanhanks for watching Learning with Sprayberry, where we make social studies fun, easy, and educational.